What Hollywood Gets Wrong About Springsteen. The new Boss biopic robs his music of its mythic American qualities. When the first trailer for Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere was released this summer, skeptical viewers immediately seized on a monologue delivered by Jon Landau, played by Jeremy Strong, Bruce Springsteen's longtime manager, explaining that the young boss grew up with a hole in the floor of his childhood bedroom. What he's doing with this album is, he's repairing that hole in his floor, Landau says, somewhat literally, about Springsteen's creative process. He's repairing that hole in himself. The speech was wisely excised from the final theatrical cut, but the whole line lingers over the writer-director Scott Cooper's film, in which Springsteen's childhood is an open wound, the abyss he gazes into as he writes the songs that would appear on his 1982 album, Nebraska. Deliver Me From Nowhere follows Warren Zanes's book of the same title and emphasizing Nebraska as a personal breakthrough, one that was followed by a near mental breakdown. But in this totalizing autobiographical framing, the majesty of the record is reduced to paternal conflict and blocked masculinity as the film undersells the scope of Springsteen's engagement with American iconography and musical traditions. Deliver Me From Nowhere opens in black and white, in the 1950s, as young Springsteen's mother drives him to the local bar to retrieve his father, a frustrated working stiff impatient for his boy to become a man. As portrayed by Stephen Graham, one of the stars of Netflix's hit drama Adolescence, Springsteen's father is an intimidating figure, capable of violent outbursts and equally frightening silences. The movie then jumps forward to the adult Springsteen, Jeremy Allen White, in 1981, a rock god in tight jeans and sweat-soaked work shirt, closing out his tour in support of The River, his first LP to top the Billboard charts. But he feels restless and creatively stagnant, and once he's settled in a house that his management has rented for him, he begins to write a new batch of songs, recording them in solo acoustic arrangements initially intended as demos. Springsteen's rental is close enough to his childhood home that he can drive by, as he occasionally does, lurking outside and steeping himself in the bad vibes, before going home to write another song. The film settles into a rhythm. Springsteen writes Nebraska more or less sequentially, some songwriting sessions interspersed with flashbacks to his father coming home in a drunken rage or melancholic mood. A memory surfaces, he records a song to tape, then sends it along to Landau, who listens and then describes its dark and condemned tone to his wife, Grace Gummer, in the comically thankless role of a woman listening patiently while her guy analyzes classic rock at her. Released as is, in those spare acoustic arrangements, in defiantly uncommercial packaging, Nebraska would be Springsteen's least char.